We're live.
We're warming up. Okay, now we're live. Cool. What's up, everybody? We're going to give it a minute or two, let people start streaming in, and then we'll get started. Unfortunately, Jeremy downloaded a horn app, a ham app, so that might be happening a little bit.
We're going to blame it on Jared.
Wow, Riley.
This is the best thing ever.
Oh man. All right, let's give it a couple minutes. It looks like people are starting to join the stream, and then yeah, we'll get started.
Let's do it.
It's gonna be great. I'm really excited.
This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, give it a couple minutes here. So, what'd you guys all? How was everyone's day? Pretty good. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Elias. Thanks for joining.
Hey.
Hi, Clarissa.
We're excited you're here.
Terrence. Oh, that's right. Unwind. We're drinking Unwind. Right, guys?
Yeah, we're gonna start with Unwind. So, yeah, if anybody's drinking along or anybody did the virtual pack, we are starting with Unwind today. So, nice couple hoppy pills. Feel free to crack one open. And yeah, I mean, why don't we jump into this? So, thanks again for joining us. We're gonna do it a little bit differently than last week. So we asked everybody to submit some questions this week, and we're going to try and stump all the brewers today. So we'll be drinking through the beers, talking about the beers, and then in between that, we have some really awesome questions that we'll be kind of trying to see if these guys know the answers to. So I think we'll start the same way because it looks like we have some new viewers this week. But a quick just 30 seconds. Who are you? What do you do for the brewery? And what is, if you're like Riley, last week Riley just said she was the quality manager. So maybe give us a little more detail about what that means. Darren, you want to start us off and then we'll just go in this loop thing?
Yeah. My name is Darren Moser, manage brewing operations at the brewery along with our great team. And that's what I do. We're here drinking Unwind, and I think I'll just intro that beer very briefly, and then maybe get some questions rolling in as everyone else introduces themselves. Unwind is the newest permanent release to the Offshoot family, and it's a little bit different. Relax and Retreat, both hazy IPA and double IPA respectively, and Unwind is a hoppy pills. We're using German lager yeast for this beer. It's crisp and clean, but it's got that assertive hop profile that adds a little bit of spice to the beer, if you will. It's drinking really nice this evening. We're pretty proud of this one.
Hi, so Keith, production manager over at Brewery. This is our wild and sour facility. So my job is a lot of everything. We kind of do, like this morning we were tasting 40-50 barrels for blends. Some of the other parts of the day is troubleshooting bottling line, figuring out our canning line setup. I mean, it's really just a lot of everything. And it's kind of a fun way to make a living for sure. A little bit of everything about beer. And now we're drinking beer.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Hi, Bill.
Yeah, I'm Bill, innovation leader at the brewery. So basically, we work on recipe design development and the pilot system. It's a long short, but on to pilot.
Gotta speak up, Bell. You gotta speak up, man.
Andrew Bell, Innovation Manager of the brewery, manage the pilot system, do recipe design and development.
Yeah.
Always
Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
I'm Riley. I'm the quality manager at the brewery. What that means is I make sure that we have methods and specifications in place in production to make sure that our beers taste how we want them to, and to make sure that they taste the same every single time we make them. And it's a lot of fun. We have a pretty robust sensory program, micro program, analytics, and we the whole team is focused on quality, and we're really, really good at what we do. So it's just a part of it.
Cool. Guys, I'm Jeremy Grinke, Director of Production. I work with everybody that you see on the screen right now pretty closely. Have a hand in all of our production. We're a brewery that's rooted in quality as well. And then I work with Daniel Donut up in the top corner there on occasion to help get our creative juices flowing as well.
Cool. So, yeah, if you have any questions about Unwind, throw them into the comments or wherever they are on your screen. So we're going to do something a little bit differently this week. We asked everybody to send us questions to Stump the Brewers. So quick run through. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to ask the questions. Everybody's going to get 1 minute to write their answer down, and then they're going to hold the answer up to the screen. So we'll keep score to see who knows the most. Halfway through, we're going to kick the loser off of the broadcast and bring in another brewer to replace him. So I know all these guys really.
One loser for another.
So it should be fun. And should we get started? I'm not seeing any Unwind questions, so we can let's do it. You guys ready?
Sure.
All right. So this is going to be the longest answer of all of them. So if you only have a small piece of paper, just make sure you write small so it fits.
Jesus.
Okay. So question number 1. Please list all of the days of the week beers in order of release, from earliest to latest. And you can use the acronym if you want. You can just use the first 2 letters of each word. But you have 1 minute, so let's go.
Days per week. Okay. Yep.
1 minute might be too long.
I'm forgetting Wednesday.
I think Jeremy is trying to get off of this thing. If you guys know the answers, feel free to play along in the chat as well. They can't. I don't think they can see it unless they're on YouTube right now, but I don't think they are. $30 more seconds.
Oh my goodness.
If you guys have questions about Unwind right now, this is a good time to throw them into the comments too. We can answer them right after we see everybody's answers.
I forgot what's on Wednesday.
Come on, Riley. 10 seconds.
She knows all the beers by blend numbers.
All right, pens down. Hold them up. Let's all hold them up. Okay.
Mocha Wednesday. Damn it. I think I had my order sort of right, though. No.
So Chocolate Rain doesn't count as a weekday beer, right?
Yeah.
Because
Wednesday. Okay. I'm going to send this to, put it down. I'm going to send this to our official scorekeeper, Connor, the pastry king. He's going to help us get the answers, and then we'll announce who got them right shortly after. There's so many on the screen. I can't read them all at once.
I'm giving myself a star. I'm keeping my own score.
You guys have sensory training, too.
The only one I'm worried about is Bill. Bill had Mocha Wednesday and Great Monday flipped for me. I didn't know about those 2.
We will have an
95
answer shortly.
First, because Gray Monday, the cast came out before I started working in the brewery, and I put together the cast for Mocha Wednesday. So I know those two are in the right order.
So let's we'll give Connor some time to score this. Let's move on to the next beer. What should we open?
Fuck.
Gray Monday. Oh yeah, Fruck. That's a good idea.
Fruct? All right, let's go for Fruct.
Yeah, so I guess we just chug this, right?
Or you could just get a second glass.
Not a second order glass on me.
Here's a question right now. Do you think Unwind is likely to go into general distro like Relax did, or is it something only released occasionally? So this is in distro right now. You should be able to find this almost anywhere you can find other offshoot and brewery beers. It is a year-round core beer from the offshoot brand.
Yeah, if you can't find it where you're finding other offshoot beers, please ask for it. Let them know that you're looking for it.
All right, Brooke. Oh man.
Yeah, so we're drinking Fruit Dragon Fruit Guava. So this is a Foeder fermented Berliner Weiss. So it's kind of like our take on a Berliner Weiss. We actually kind of do an interesting method of fermentation with this, where it is more of a Solera fermentation. Beer sits in there, and we actually knock out wort right on top of it, which is pretty unique to this beer and to brewing in general. Take that beer; it's really fruity to begin with. Then we added a bunch of dragon fruit that we hand pureed and some guava from our farmer friends, and makes for a really nice crushable beer.
The guava is outstanding in this beer.
Yeah, this is incredible. This is one of my favorite fruits. I think it's just unique, like the combination.
Yeah, super tropical.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have the results from that round, and everybody got it wrong. So the correct order is, let me pull this up. Black Tuesday, Gray Monday, Mocha Wednesday, PB and Thursday, Sunday, Aloha Friday.
Oh, I was pretty.
What did you put, Bill?
I put Sunday.
I just forgot the mocha.
Oh, PB and J. Oh, Bill.
Very nice.
So close.
You guys were all close. We almost got it. Does anyone have any questions? If you have questions on Fruct, ask them in the comments right now. So the score is everyone has 0 right now.
I got questions already about this group.
You guys ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. What day was the actual Black Tuesday? I'm only going to give you guys 30 seconds on this. The historical Black Tuesday. Not our Black Tuesday.
October 29. Oh, sorry.
Year. I need a year.
Oh.
Don't hold them up. Don't hold them up until I tell you to, because everyone can see it.
Does it say on the bottle?
Oh.
All right.
You just want the year?
I need the year and the date. Yeah.
Oh, and the date.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
wrong.
Pens down. Hold them up.
Wait.
Yeah, someone has got this right.
So there is only one answer that looks to be correct. Jeremy's got it, man.
29.
Damn it. This was not just FYI. I'm not looking for anything here, but I wrote this and then I changed.
Jeremy nailed it.
Nice work.
Yeah, I even said it for all of you too.
I know, and I was like, "Come on, dude, what are you doing?"
You also can't tell if Jeremy just screwing us up.
I wouldn't put past him at all.
No, he might be like planning inception of dates, you know?
Listen, I know a lot about losing money. I'm very well versed. I've pretty much lost everything I've ever earned. So,
All right. So Jeremy's at the head of the pack.
surprise.
Any questions? Anything you guys want to say about this beer that we're drinking right now?
Really enjoying it.
Stacy.
Let's see.
It's like there's some questions.
Here's some in the comments. Maybe Bell might have a feel for it. What is the lowest ABV barrel age? Oh,
I know.
Sorry.
be a new one, yeah.
We're talking clean side. It's ebony and oak. But that was recalled, unfortunately. It was supposed to be 5% alcohol. I think it went in a barrel like 5 or 6, and then it ended up coming out like 9, but it soured. As far as Peru side, I'm not entirely sure what the lowest ABV beer is on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably would make sense.
Right. Yeah.
Right ideas.
Right idea.
Right idea.
Why can't we have some bright on this?
I've also got I've got some right.
I'll go get one right now.
Next week.
Next week, yeah.
So this is a good question. We do have cans of Grey Monday, and they are only available in the tasting rooms for to-go sales right now. But we actually did put it online in this pack for the virtual happy hour. So if you do want to order it online, the only way right now is in the happy hour pack, and those will be on the website until Monday, I think. Until Monday, at least through the weekend. So we'll taste through it, talk about it. If you feel like you want some, you can order it online. Let's see.
I saw some cans of Chocolate Rain left in the Cheru tasting room today too. Not a lot, but like I think 20 or so cans left. So there's still some cans of Chocolate Rain as well.
That batch was really good too. The last year when we canned Chocolate Rain, that was the Jeremy, if I remember correctly, that was kind of the year we reimagined it a little bit, and I think the cacao was increased, and it was also that Black Tuesday base that we came back around with. So that's a good can. That's a good can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So I think Mario keeps saying that it was hot and raw, but the question was a barrel aged beer, Mario, not just any beer released. Yeah. So that question was barrel aged specifically. But just bringing it up. I think he said it like twice or 3 times. So sorry.
Richard, what question do you want to hear an answer to, and we can answer it. Just throw it in the comments. Here's another pretty good question. Can I still get into the Reserve Society? So that's an annual membership. That won't open up until September or October this year to the public again. So if there's spots left after our renewals, there'll be a little bit of time for the public to join the Reserve Society. But as far as this year, it's closed.
Yeah, do it, Bobby. When it opens, join, dude. We're working on some cool stuff for next year. Pretty excited about it.
Here's a good
Totally
one.
join.
How long is it safe to age Black Tuesday? I just drank a 2015 the other day. Who wants to tackle this one?
I feel like Riley probably should, but for my personal thing, I had an 09 about 5 months ago, and it still tasted delicious. But I'll let Riley, as the quality manager, answer the actual question.
As far as being safe to drink, it's completely safe to drink. It's I'm not sure what 2015 what the ABV was, but I'm sure it was 18% or above. But as far as anything microbially being unsafe, it's completely safe. There's nothing that's gonna pop up in there that's gonna be harmful. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure it was pretty good.
How does the beer kind of evolve or change over time? Like, what does age do to something like Black Tuesday when it's sitting in bottle?
Yeah, I'll chime in real quick, and then I think I had one thought, and then I think Jeremy is probably the expert on just things aging in bottle in general. But I think just to offer a little bit more on top of what Riley said, I think it's important to remember that all beer traditionally made is safe. It's free of human pathogens because it's a fermented beverage. It's got alcohol. It's an anaerobic environment, and it's a low pH. And that's one reason historically that fermented foods and beverages have been so popular, because they were often safe for human consumption and a method of preservation when other things were not. So safety is not really an issue. And as a segue, Black Tuesday is a beer that's built to age. We age it for you, of course, in wood to develop the flavors that we want to be received when we release it. And is this fun? Is this funny? Is this? Oh,
it's the comment.
It's just a question. The question was, did Darren just call Jeremy old? He said I was the expert on age.
I didn't go there, but I mean,
yeah, old spirit.
Oh, I see it now. I'm catching up. Sorry. But anyway, just to jump back to that thought, I mean, we're doing a lot of the aging to get Black Tuesday to a flavor profile that we're really proud of when we release it. But to harken back to what Daniel was saying, and I want to pass it off to Jeremy, it is a beer that's going to continue to mature in bottle. And just like a lot of wines perform, it'll have peaks and valleys, and there's going to be a time when it's really fantastic, and then there's going to be a time at some point, we don't know the answer, but where you're going to open a bottle and say, well, I should drink it last year. Jeremy, I don't know if you have any further thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as we define the word safety, I think Riley and Darren handled that pretty well. As far as the beer itself is safe and stable. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of our most stable beers due to its alcohol complexity. But the other way to look at the word safe is if you only have one bottle and you're saving it for 8 years, there ain't nothing safe about that. Now, if you have 8 bottles and you open one every year, then you can really start to see how the beer ages. You can look at, on year 5, you're like, wait, God, that beer tasted a lot better last year. And now you have 3 bottles left. Maybe I should probably rip through these tonight. That's a joke. I'm not suggesting anybody rip 3 or 4 Black Tuesdays in a night, but I guess my point is, like, you start checking in on it. It's the same way if you buy a bag of Romaine Hearts at Costco, there's 5 in the bag, and if you get to the 3rd one and it's starting to look a little wilted, then the other 2 are probably wilted too, and you should probably make a big salad that night. How's that?
Yeah, that was really good.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest going to Costco right now either. It's pretty packed from what I hear.
Awesome. Okay, let's. Should we open the next beer and then move on to the next question?
Yeah,
sure. What are you guys thinking? Hoppy Horsey?
Oh yeah.
Hoppy Horsey. All right, let's do it. Everyone got a virtual pack and you're ready to move on. Let's do Hoppy Horsey.
Bell, this question is kind of good for you. It says, if a Black Tuesday port barrel doesn't have a year on it, how can you tell which year it came out?
That's a better question for Connor. I don't know, actually, off the top of my head. I'd assume probably the first one.
That has to be the first one, right?
I'd assume so.
Well, the convention, the vintage convention, even within BT, has changed a little bit. The vintage was for a period of time on there, and then for a period of time determined by the die cut of the label. And then the Black Tuesday variants, over the years, haven't always, of which port barrel ages one of them, haven't always followed either convention. I think we could chalk that up to some of the fun of being a member and following those things and kind of knowing. I'd have to look. We could certainly find that answer, but I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it's 17, but I don't know either.
We'll find out. Cool. So, Hoppy Hooray. This one is actually only available to Preservation Society members in their pack and in the virtual pack right now online, I believe. When do you guys want to talk about what's going on with this beer?
Wow, fantastic.
Sure. Yeah. So this is an iteration of our Fruit Guava saison. So we do a ferment inside of wood, which is also not very typical for breweries to do. We actually kind of let it run ambient fermentation temperatures with a French saison yeast. Then we'll hit that towards the end of fermentation with some Brett Trois, and Brett Dre. Let that kind of get funky in there. Then we took back blended it with some of our sour blonde base to give it a little nice tartness. Then take that to a stainless tank and dry hop it with Ariana and Nelson Savon. We let that dry hop. Then we actually move that to bright tank, bottle condition it with Brett Brooks. So it's super, super funky, super carbonated, really effervescent, really nice, especially right now in Southern California with the sun being out. And, it's just a really nice summertime beer. I think it's going to be great in a month or two. I mean, it's great now, but I think it's going to be really great next to the pool. So, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that was great. It's a good beer. If you have questions, ask them in the comments. We're going to move on to the next question.
You're drinking MDMC right now? That is an old beer.
Okay. So right now the score is Jeremy 1, everybody else 0.
Right. So saying we have a chance.
There's a chance. I'm not saying it's a good chance, but there's a chance. I don't know. Jeremy, he's got a smirk on his face. I feel like he might have found these questions somewhere. Okay. So this one is interesting but kind of hard. Name 2 brewery beers that included kumquats. 1 minute.
You said name 2?
2.
Super.
And it can't be the same beer, different vintages.
God damn it.
Gotta be different. I knew that's where you were going, dude.
Oh, man. This is a...
Oh, this is a stumper.
I just forget the name of it.
I can't remember the name of that beer.
I know.
God, this is going to kill me.
30 seconds.
Oh, come on.
I need more time. God.
Don't forget to, everybody watching, throw some questions. If you have any about Hoppy Hooray, throw them in the comments.
Does it have to be released?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to have been put into a bottle.
Oh,
Yeah.
10
Yeah, that's-
seconds. You got 10 seconds.
I have.
I don't know. I only know one.
Pen's down. All right, hold them up.
I got. That's not.
Order box, yeah.
Order box. All right, so nobody got this one. Sorry, you guys. No, correct.
What was the second one? I'm blanking.
So what we saw was sour in the rye with kumquats, and then we did hot and Roth with kumquats on draft.
Oh, yeah.
It was Nottenroth. Nottenroth, not Hot and Roth.
I'll have to get back to you with the official scorekeepers.
Yeah,
That's
it was Nottenroth.
There was a
Not Roth with
Yeah,
kumquats.
Nottenroth. It wasn't Hot and Roth. It was Nottenroth.
I believe there was a order box. Yeah.
All right, so as we move on to the next round, we're at Jeremy 1, everybody 0. This is a very critical round coming up because if everybody gets it wrong, then Alex Ponce, who's on deck, doesn't get to come on because it's a four-way tie for last place. So, yeah. So, let's
Oh, yeah.
keep going.
In the comments is right, too. The Dogfish Head collab.
Dogfish Head collab. There we go.
I like kumquats in it, too.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The first one. The old one.
Not
Bigger, faster, bolder, stronger, whatever thing.
Here we go. Here's a question. I have a 2013 Black Tuesday in my fridge and a 2016. Don't have an official beer fridge. Is that okay? When should I open them? Who wants to tackle this one? Riley.
Don't have an official beer fridge. Is that okay?
I think it's okay.
I think basically they're saying it hasn't been stored cold.
Absolutely open them.
I don't. It has been stored.
understand the question.
Well, the question is, what would you do?
Fridge. Yeah, there we go.
When should I
drink
open them?
Yeah, when should we open them?
Yeah, because your romaine lettuce is going bad, or whatever Jeremy said.
Yeah.
Are you working from home?
What time do you have to wake up tomorrow?
Yeah. I also think if you blend them, you'll get a 2014 and a half.
I think you should have your own. I think you should have your own virtual happy hour with your friends and open both of them, and have like a little like a taster thing going on.
If the stock market goes down next Tuesday, drink it.
There's never been a better time for BT.
True.
There won't be a better time in a week. So
here's a good one. So will you do additional variations on Hoppy Hooray beyond Horse in the Orchard? It's a great base beer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I mean, it's basically a Hoppy Hooray is a food or saison. And saisons definitely have a place in our portfolio. That we haven't had a lot of saisons out recently in the last year or so. But have no fear, we're brewing one this week, I believe. It was going into foeder, and
last knockout was yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, so we have some plans for later in the year and early next year as well. So yeah, saison something we like working with, and Brett beers that are funky and slightly acidic, but not really super sour, or some of our brewers' favorites. So yeah, I would say you'll see more saisons, whether they be tart or Brett forward, hoppy or herbal. You'll definitely see them for sure.
What we like to hear.
Cool. Here's let's do one more question. I saw a pretty good one. Let me see if I can find it again. I can't find the question, but basically it was, here we go. What are your feelings about capping a BT after you open them? So basically you open one, you can't drink it all. How do you guys feel about capping it and drinking it the next day, or waiting a few days and seeing how it evolves or changes a little bit when it's been open? Any thoughts there?
If you have a champagne style bottle stopper, that works pretty well.
Yeah. The problem is you're going to lose carbonation.
Yeah.
And oxidize.
And I think BT definitely transcends boundaries with the ABV and the type of beer that it is into being able to tolerate being open for a day or two. Riley and Andrew are absolutely correct. I mean, if you like it carbonated, it's going to flatten out, even if you use a proper stopper, like for champagne style or something, that'll help. But it will flatten out, and you will get some oxidative character. I think that we have some members, and I've heard them kind of echo this. Is some people like BT on day two. Some people really actually enjoy it after it flattens out a bit, and also you get some of that oxidation in the bottle, which opens up the beer. I mean, that's not atypical of some wines and certainly spirits. So I think that there is. I think if there were a beer that isn't going to be destroyed by going back to it on day two, it's BT. You can never do that with a normal Plato beer, a light drinking beer, an IPA. The oxidation and the loss of carbonation would absolutely ruin it. But BT it will absolutely offer a different experience. I wouldn't let it sit there for a week, but then again, that's a personal problem. But absolutely, there's something to be said for letting it develop.
All right, that was a really good answer. Let's keep moving. So, what are we drinking next? We did Fruit, we did Horse, we did wine. So, I'm thinking Love Bites or Shit Mole. So happens to be Mole.
God damn it, Daniel.
What are you guys? What are you guys thinking?
Strawberry.
Strawberry, dude.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Love Bites.
I think it's funny that Chris asked that question. The guy runs like 20 miles a day. He could drink a Black Tuesday a day and he'd be fine. Drink that whole bottle, Chris.
He's got super alcohol tolerance because he runs.
No,
Is
he
that
can
what
burn
you're
the calories. He can burn the calories.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy, your wind chimes are like putting me in a zone right now, dude. I like it. Yeah,
Dude, I'm sorry, man.
I'm like kicking back. It's nice.
Look at you.
I just have such a peaceful life at work that I need to have a peaceful life at home too.
I love it. Yeah.
You know, it's just
Jeremy, when are you going to invite us all over to hang out with your plants?
We're in quarantine.
I'm breaking up. I can't hear you.
He said it's a peaceful area.
All right, so who wants to talk about Love Bites? What do we got going on here? Andrew, let's do it. Andrew, you're on the spot, man. Tell us about
Love Bites. Actually, I was hoping Darren would take this question because he was the one who came up with this idea. But the idea is a chocolate-covered strawberry for Valentine's Day. It has a bit of so happens it's Tuesday and a little bit of Black Tuesday, I believe, blended into it. Strawberry puree, a little bit of strawberry concentrate to get a sort of deeper, richer essence to it, and then some cacao nibs. Pretty straightforward. I think it's delicious. I think this is actually better now than when we first put it in cans. So,
Yeah, I think I agree. And I mean, just to add one note, you know, for brewers and really the beer aficionados that are into ingredient usage, it's not new information that strawberries are really, really hard to capture in beer. So, you know, we at the brewery work with a lot of different ingredients, and some work really well. They're easy, and some are a little bit more difficult to incorporate. And strawberries are near impossible. And this was kind of we're coming up with beer concepts, and you know, we do all these crazy things, but we dance around this idea of a chocolate-covered strawberry beer for Valentine's Day. And Andrew did what he does best, and that's find a way to capture that flavor, and we nailed it in this. I mean, it has the strawberry to hold up against the chocolate, and it's actually aging well, to your point, Andrew, which is some of the danger there. So,
yeah, definitely
fantastic.
Yeah,
cool. Next question. Should we do it? This is a big one.
Okay.
Round. Someone might get the boot.
What's my marker?
Let's do it.
All right.
You got a picture of something.
that is a cool picture.
Here you go, Terrence.
Okay. So Jeremy 1, everybody 0. Next question. This might be one we all get. So let's see what goes on here. So, what was the name of the last beer brewed on the old brew house? You have 1 minute.
Jeremy 2.
Don't hold them up until I tell you, because I know people These guys are gonna see it, and then I don't want any of that going on. Everybody's ready. If we're all ready, we can move on. But it looks like Riley's still thinking here.
I don't know.
All right. Bye, Riley.
Don't hold it
Bye,
up.
Riley.
Bye, Riley.
I don't know. I
Good
wasn't here.
You get to stay on if you don't get a wrong answer.
Okay, here we go. You
What
guys
are you
ready? Hold them up.
leaving
Hold them
there?
up. Hold them up.
Him.
Where you at, Darren? Hold yours up.
I don't.
Oh wow. Okay,
We
so
were here.
Jeremy correct, Bell correct,
I'm right.
Keith correct. I think we're gonna have to ask the audience who they want to stay on, and because it's a tie.
Oh snap! That's messed up.
Bye, bye, Darren.
It's been real.
Yeah. All right, let's answer some more questions here until we figure that piece out.
Decommission was a hot be longer. The hoppy lager. Yeah.
A Brett.
Hoppy lager, Brett fermented hoppy lager.
Yep.
Pretty fantastic. It's basically an employee beer.
Yeah. It got super funky after like a
Yeah.
couple months, though. Like really, really funky. It's crazy.
So someone's asking, could you get strawberry flavors aging on a strawberry wine barrel?
I haven't seen any of these so-called strawberry wine barrels, but I want one.
Nor have I ever
Hypothetically,
had a
Strawberry
good
wine.
strawberry wine.
There's a couple producers in Louisiana that can get some strawberry wine barrels. Let's see how that comes out.
Yeah, if someone could send me a really good strawberry wine and tell me where it's from, then we can start talking.
All right, I am looking for any good questions. Let's see. All right, you guys want to next beer? What do we want to do?
Do you guys want to talk about your favorite BT variant?
Favorite BVT variant? Sure. Oh, here was a question that came up earlier, but we didn't answer. So this just says winification, but the question was, are we ever going to do that beer again, or do we have beers that are similar to that coming out, and what are the similarities?
Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean we have done winification several times since the last winification. So winification as a brand name has been laid to rest and has been reborn as Vindictive. So we did Vindictive and then Vindictive 2. And we have plans for another one this year. Timeline to be determined, but yeah, we like to play in that style. We like to hybridize drinks, whether it be cider hybrids or wine beer hybrids. Something we like to do. So yeah, you can look forward to that coming back. However, not under the name winification.
Here's another good one. Maybe Belle, you can talk about this one a little bit, but why do you think strawberry is so hard to capture?
If I had to guess, it would be high water content. It seems that a lot of fruits with super high water contents are kind of hard to capture the flavor of. That would be my biggest guess. And then sometimes, I mean, when you really go heavy on strawberry, it can lead, especially on sour beers, it can lead to phenolics because there's a lot of seed material. But yeah, the strawberry, it seems like as far as berries, strawberries and blueberries are just very, very hard to get. You have to use so much of that fruit to get even like hints of flavor.
I think too, like on that spectrum too, is like watermelon's another one that's hard to capture because it's water. I mean, it's all water.
Exactly.
And I mean, you can't. It's hard to capture that if you're using it naturally.
Yeah. The only exception to that would be cucumber. It seems cucumbers are the water that has strong flavor, but I think that's due to like skin material versus strawberries. They don't have like very deep skins. Yeah, I don't know. Jeremy, Darren, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think too, like you're saying, like strawberry, strawberry when it ferments out, it doesn't taste like strawberry anymore. So I mean, it's hard to capture strawberry to taste like what we know as strawberry, the fruit. It's still strawberry technically, but it's just hard to. It doesn't taste like strawberry. Right?
Yeah, and also getting the ripeness of strawberries correct is
Yeah,
very key.
I think that's part of it too, because there's a lot of strawberries that don't taste like strawberries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare to get like delicious strawberries, and then when you go back, you find them, and you go back to the same store, and they don't taste the same again. So
Yeah.
Cool. So here's a good one. What collabs are coming up? So we actually just started working on some of the communications about one of these. So we have a collaboration coming out in April, and that's going to be our second collaboration with microphone. So Sticky Chunk will be dropping for members with their allocations at the start of the month, and that's basically a barrel-aged version of Icky Thump, which was an imperial coffee stout. Bell's looking at me funny. He probably wants to say a little bit more about this beer. I know there's marshmallow, cacao added, so slightly different, but that should be. So that's also going to be a public release halfway through the month. That will go out to the public. Bell, you want to talk about the beer a little bit? You look like you got something to say.
Yeah, no. I waited to hear you say the other ingredients in it, but yeah, it's basically a stronger base beer, and then also aged in bourbon barrels. So those bits are different. And then instead of coffee, we're treating it like Rocky Road ice cream. So marshmallow, chocolate, nuts. It's pretty damn tasty. Even just the barrels themselves are pretty good. They have like a lot of vanilla character. So Mike came out and visited us a couple months back, and we tasted through some barrels. We didn't know exactly what sort of treatment we wanted to do the beer. We just knew we wanted to treat it different than regular Icky Thump, and the barrels just kind of talked to us, and they had a lot of vanilla character to them. So we thought Rocky Road ice cream, and some were a little nutty, some were a little chocolatey, but huge vanilla marshmallow characters. So.
Hey, Daniel, one other thing in terms of collabs, I don't know if you want to mention it, but next week we're releasing, I think it's a little bit not what people we think of as collabs, but I would rather maybe say celebration of partnership with our hop suppliers and growers on the offshoot side. But that's another one that's on the press.
Correct. So, better together. So on the offshoot side, we're dropping a West Coast IPA on 4/1, and that was sort of a like Darren said with Crosby Hops and Virgil Gamache Farms. We did a collaboration beer that we originally were going to release at CBC. Obviously, that's not happening, as a lot of you guys know, but we are putting out the cans on the website and in the tasting rooms to go on 4/1. So that should be a pretty fun beer. Okay. So next beer.
let's do it.
Bites. What do we want to try? Is it time for So Happens?
So happens mole.
Let's do mole. While we're pouring, here's one that is kind of fun. Maybe Jeremy and Bell, you can talk a little to it. How do you pick collaborators?
I'll let Jeremy go first on that one.
Yeah, I mean, this may sound silly, but we like to make beer with people we like. I think you like doing business with people you like too. You'll definitely do business with people you don't like as well. I don't consider a collaboration business, but it is you want to spend time with colleagues that you'd like to get closer to, colleagues that you respect, that you feel may have some knowledge that can be shared in a way that's not competitive. And believe it or not, as more breweries open, craft beer is becoming very, very competitive. So for me personally, it's all about friendship and places we would like to go that we actually have a business need to go to as well. For instance, if we're selling a lot of beer in the New York area and we're traveling out that way, then it makes sense to call up some friends and make a beer together. You know, it really is that simple. It's, you know, hanging out with people you like to hang out with, and, you know, learning and growing a little bit as a brewer. Sometimes you find out there's a lot of stuff to learn. Other times you find out you're the teacher. You know, sometimes you're student, sometimes you're the teacher.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. It's all about relationships and friendships. Like, we need to know the person that we're going to be collaborating with first, and it's people we want to hang out with, people we want to drink with, people who we respect, and think have good ideas. And yeah, it's probably a little bit less formal than the average beer consumer makes it out to be. It's just, you know, you might be shooting the shit at a bar with some friends, a festival or an event, and, you know, this idea pops in your head. But as Jeremy said, it's all about friendships and having respect for the other, both ways, for having respect for the other brewer and then having respect for you. So, yeah. It's usually you decide you want to have a collab before you have the idea of what you want to do. So.
Cool. So happens it's Tuesday Mole. Maybe we should talk about the base beer a little bit first and what makes it so special to us and why it's really great for adjuncting like this. And then one of you guys can talk to this specific version of So Happens It's Tuesday.
Yeah. On the base beer, I'll just jump in there real quick and then pass it to Andrew because he really developed this concept treatment. But So Happens It's Tuesday is the more approachable bourbon barrel aged imperial stout from the brewery at 14 to 15% alcohol. You know, I can emphasize more approachable as compared to Black Tuesday. In fact, I would say, and I think. This is an interesting topic, but a lot of people that are new to brewery beers, they say, "Hey, what do I like? I like barrel aged beer." I think So Happens Tuesday is the beer that I like to introduce them to because it does drink a little bit more like a stout, and it's still plenty strong enough. But So Happens It's Tuesday is one of our favorite bases to work with. So. Kind of great segue into Andrew talking about the mole concept.
Yeah, as far as mole, it's we just in general, being in Southern California, we like to riff off sort of Mexican flavors in general, be it like a mole or Mexican hot chocolate, or going to our horchata beers or anything else. But this beer is kind of like we want to do a riff. Sort of a riff but amped up version on the Share This Mole variant we did a while back, kind of, you know, make it much more intense, fitting with the barrel aged brand of So Happens It's Tuesday. And we originally did a pilot of this for it's like a one-off beer for Wakefest last year, if I'm getting my dates correct. And instantly we knew that this was going to be bomb. So, it was for Wakefest as well as our Society Welcome Weekend, and we knew that it was fire. It was so good. So it was immediate, like plug it in the calendar. Let's go for the scale. So just using really really nice nibs, a lot of them vanilla, cinnamon, getting that spice right, which was actually there's a little backstory to that in itself because we used cayenne as the spice in here. And apparently there's several different grades of cayenne spice level that you can get commercially, and we had no idea what one we actually tried with, which was my bad on that. But it ended up working out pretty well, so the more you know.
Here's sort of a related question that's pretty good. So original So Happens had an ABV of 11%. Why did we push that up to 15?
That's a great question. I don't really remember it being that super low. I know it did get a slight OG, like original gravity tweak, God, in 2013, 2014, but I always thought it was bigger than that. But
Yeah, I think
it was a conscious effort to push it that much higher.
Cool. Next question. Should we do it? Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the score right now, Jeremy, 2.
Jeremy only is the only one that has a point.
Bell has a point.
2.
Keith has a point. Riley and Darren.
We
It's on.
missed the slow pitch question, so now it's like
Slow pitch, I wasn't even there.
It's
The
not
sequel.
going to get any easier, guys.
It's called decommission.
So here's a good one. Shout out Ryan Dick. He came up with this question, and as a lot of you guys know, we've been running deliveries lately in the local area with all that's happening, and so you may have seen a big Nissan truck with a brewery license plate on there. So it's kind of the official brewery truck right now. So the question is, this one you only got 15 seconds on, because if you don't know it, you're not going to know it. What year is that Nissan?
What needs? Oh,
Don't hold it up till we call it.
You have to have the right answer, or do you get a?
what if I got it right first?
I got 10 seconds.
Riley, come on.
That's okay.
The Nissan?
All right. That's time. Pens down. Hold it up. Darren got a point.
That's so close.
it was
Adding it miles on the Nissan, I didn't know it myself.
after you opened the brewery.
2000.
I know, that's why I said 2008. I was like,
That was
dang.
close,
Yeah,
man.
because Patrick was driving a Lexus when he first opened the brewery.
Can we have some quality based questions?
Give me some quality-based questions.
I'm not making up the questions. I'm just asking what the people want to hear. Okay. These are all from either members or guests.
Is Ryan Dick one of the people?
Yeah. Here's a good one.
Riley.
That's a tough question.
It's a lot of people.
I get it.
It's not changed much.
It's a good truck.
It is a good track.
Still running.
All right. So
It's getting
now
the beer to the people.
Jeremy in the lead with 2. Darren and Keith. No. Darren, Keith, and Bell are tied with 1. Riley, we might have to give you the boot. I don't know.
No,
Keep playing. Yeah, let's keep playing.
I'm ready.
Here's a question also. Please include a tip option for so we have a few restrictions on our website on the tech side. So we did add we have a lot of our tasting room staff and our fulfillment team that are like fulfilling orders. Tasting rooms are closed, they're running deliveries. So we did add a tip option on the website, but it's its own product. So you just have to look for the tip product and check out with that, and that all goes to our team out there. Okay, so happens mole, Horsey. Should we do
That last question is kind of interesting. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. You get it?
Oh, here we go. Is that a Riley question?
So
I think,
Riley,
I think that's an everybody question, but I don't.
What do you? I don't know what that means.
Put the question up.
Nope, that's not it.
Hands down, a pound, easily a pound.
Now you gotta.
A back-
Do you see the picture of that guy? Oh man.
Yeah, I think I can speak to that, and then happy for support for the rest of it. But I think I think I'd like to start out by defining what bad means. We for a small brewery that takes as many risks as a brewery can possibly take when it comes to ingredients, when it comes to trying new styles, when it comes to different strains of micro that we're going to use to be responsible for fermentation. We do run into occasional issues where we don't achieve the definition of quality that we set forth internally. But I think what makes a beer bad is when it doesn't meet what the customer expected, because that ultimately there's kind of two perceptions of quality. The first is it quality in terms of my preference, and then the second is it quality in terms of what the product was supposed to be. So do we run into that? Hopefully not too often, but can it happen? Yes. And our response is different based on what the issue might be. Just for example, and I don't want to dive into it too deep, but we had an issue late last year where and earlier this year where we had packaging material that we couldn't depend on. That had nothing to do with the beer that we're producing, but we still had to react because it affected our customer. And then in the past, we've had mixed culture issues, and when that happens, we try to treat every customer with respect to their situation and make sure that they're satisfied. So I don't think that there's a blanket answer for how we respond to every individual quality issue that might come up. But I think the thing that's important is literally the 6 people plus a few more that are on this panel today. Our first and foremost priority are responding to when a customer might be less than satisfied with their beer, and then we go on to our day jobs. So I don't know. I hope that kind of helps answer that question, but it's not a canned answer. It's always different, but we do respond, and there's no one takes it more seriously than the people that you're looking at.
Yeah, and I think we covered this a little bit last week, but really like the majority of my job is making sure that we're proactive in our practices to make sure that you're not getting a batch of bad bottles, or any bad beers. Like there are some things that we can't control, like the packaging issue that Darren was talking about, but the majority of my job and a lot of our jobs actually is making sure that before that beer gets packaged, it meets all of our specifications. It's the beer that we want to package, but we do take a lot of risks, and I think that's why. If you're a fan of the brewery, it's because you've had something from us that was risky and delicious and kind of out of the left field. But so we do take a lot of risks, but at the same time, like we take a lot of measures to make sure that the beer that we package is exactly what we want it to be and what you guys want. So
there's a pressing question, a little bit different topic. I think it's important. It sounds like it might need some immediate attention. So sounds like someone's making grilled pork chops. What should they be drinking with this? Who around the board?
It's Tuesday.
Thanks.
How are they preparing it other than just grilling it? Side dishes and
Salt and pepper, baby.
We're going noir.
Some garlic.
Huh. I know this person that's asking this question, and I've seen her drink before.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, she likes Bourgogne Blanc, blended with a little bit of mango fire. It's a god awful thing to drink, but I believe that's her go-to.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. Next question.
Some apple sap.
By the way, I would say this guy would actually work with a really nice char on the pork chop. Just saying.
We have 3 more questions. We have 1 more beer. So let's do a question, and then we'll move on to Grey Monday for the big finale. So next question. You guys ready?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
hold
By the
on.
way, I like the questions you were asking before we started the live stream. I was better at those.
Thank you for that, Riley. Okay, so what is the day and year that the original brewery tasting room opened on?
Well, the tasting room as it is currently constructed,
Wait, which tasting room?
The OG.
like the OG.
Day and year. You have 30 seconds.
Day of the week or date?
Date and year. Don't hold your answers up until I ask for them, Riley.
Can you hold that up again?
All right, everybody's ready. Okay, show us your answers.
Depending on which tasting room you're talking about.
What if we're close?
I don't think anybody got this right.
Am I close?
Good.
So
I
I'm
put
gonna,
my
have to send this
birthday.
one, I'm gonna have to send this one to our judges.
It's on the blog, by the way. You can actually see this is
Blog.
within
Cheating, though? What are you doing?
It is on the blog. It is on the blog. In the blog.
I think the real question is, when did the 717 Dunway tasting room open, right?
That's the second one, July 4th,
Right.
2012.
No,
Really?
the original one, May 25th, 2008, from
No.
the blog. From the blog.
I was the close.
fact check it.
That might be when the brewery started selling beer out of it. But that's not when they
I was
tasted.
the
No, it
closest.
was September. I can guarantee you that.
May's right before June.
No, I can guarantee you
That's true.
We'll send this one to the judges.
That was 3,000 beers ago, dude.
It was 3,000 beers ago. Although I will say, we did ask Patrick to confirm some of these dates, and
What did he say? What did he say?
He said that it was correct.
Don't call Patrick a liar, dude. I don't like that.
I'm looking this up right now.
Not gonna sit good.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's okay.
Yep.
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Let's move on to Gray Monday. Gray Monday.
Right Monday.
I was off. It's 2 days off, but
Oh, doesn't count.
yeah. September 5th, Friday, September 5th, 2008.
So I don't know if you've ever seen these whale shark openers. They're really fucking good for cutting wax and opening bottles.
Opener?
Yeah.
Wow. You get it, Keith.
Yeah.
Get it. I opened a can, personally. I wanted to have a can. There's my can right there.
Thank goodness it's Friday.
Yeah, look at this.
Monday. We got a bit.
Here's a little follow up to the side dishes.
Thanks. I just want to address real quick. I'm watching the comments, and there's a repeating theme here, and I really don't want to dive down the rabbit hole, but if you know what I'm referring to, my fan theory regarding Westworld, I think we've already seen the reference that we've been looking for, therefore confirmed. So,
Shut up, Eric.
if you're watching, thank you.
All right. So who wants to tackle talking about Gray Monday?
Sure. Gray Monday is light in body. It's got a lot of grain.
Very
There's a lot
effervescent.
of grain aromatics to it.
So I think Dave kind of put out a question earlier in the comment that he said he thought Black Tuesday was packaged still. I don't know if you want to kind of talk to that, because this is kind of a variant of Black Tuesday, and it's not packaged still. Just being like a heavier body and heavier beer, I think its perceived carbonation is lower. But that's pretty interesting comment from Dave. No? Okay.
What?
Well, drop the beer science on them. What's the beer science with sour beer,
Well, no,
pH, acidity?
He was talking about Black Tuesday. He was talking about Black Tuesday in particular, talking about how it was packaged still. I think it's just perceived as still, and it's not still. Right? So, I mean, it's...
No, it's
All right. Well,
just trying to see what he said.
great Monday. Bill, you want to give us some of the history on the beer?
Yeah, so Grey Monday was first done as a cask for a molecular gastronomy dinner done at Beechwood. We used to kind of do a standing. So Beechwood in general, Long Beach and Seal Beach institution, they started doing molecular gastronomy dinners once a month on Mondays, which is they're normally closed. It's a ticketed thing. And we did a couple dinners with them. And one of the, I believe it was one of the bar managers there at the time, his family owned a hazelnut farm. And so we sourced a bunch of the hazelnuts for a cask, threw them in the cask, and a delicious beer was made. I didn't work at the brewery at the time, but that is where it kind of originated. And then we waited maybe 2 or 3 years after that before we actually put it in a bottle. But yeah, we use Oregon hazelnuts, a lot of them. It's evolved a little bit over the years in process. The first year we did this was in 2012. We threw them in for bottle. We threw them in the barrel, and it was like one of the worst days of racking out beer that I can ever think of. Usually we can rack out a barrel of beer, like a bourbon barrel, in like 7 minutes or something like that. And these barrels were taking like an hour or 2 hours to rack out. Just like you had to lean on top of the barrel gun to keep them from blowing out. The hazelnuts were just clogging up the barrel gun. So I think it was 12 physical barrels that we racked out, and it took better part of 18 hours straight of racking. It was an absolute nightmare. But the beer was delicious, and I think Grey Monday specifically every year has gotten better on this one, and just much more. I think it was 2 years ago we switched up how we did the hazelnuts, and it's just gotten much more hazelnut forward, and I love it.
Cool. If anyone has Grey Monday questions, feel free to ask them. Here's kind of a fun one. So our good friend Brian does a lot of video work for us. What's up, Brian?
Hi, Brian.
Let's go around. What's everyone's favorite BT variant? Darren, what you got for us?
Yeah, I think Grey Monday. I think it's pretty distinguished. It's not suggesting anything about any of the other beers that we make, but it's not a stunt beer. It's just kind of a nice nutty character that works really well with the base Black Tuesday and adds to the richness. You get a perceived sweetness from almost nowhere. You know, you wouldn't expect to get that from nuts, and but not overly sweet, and it just works really well. And this was when I started working for the brewery, this was one of the Black Tuesday variants that I was really impressed with. I mean, it's fantastic. I can't think of anything else like it.
So I think for me, I'm not sure if this qualifies as a BT variant, but I think like Rutherford, like the Rutherford series, like that is just amazing to me. It's unlike anything I've ever had before. I think it's very special. And yeah, for me, that would be the Rutherford series or Yount OG.
Yeah, I would say of the OG ones, I'd say Grey Monday is my favorite of everything ever bottled. I don't know, the Samoa when it was fresh bottled was pretty fantastic. Yount, obviously, also really, really good. So one of those three. Not picking it down.
Riley, what you got?
I think for me, Aloha Friday is probably my favorite BT variant. The nuttiness that comes through from the macadamia nut and the coconut is it's absolutely fantastic, and it's it's a slow drinker. It's very rich and chocolatey, and I enjoy it a lot.
All right. So I like Chocolate Rain better than Chocolate Rain. So, Chocolate Rain, I like that one. I think there's something about the double barrel age, double treatment of cacao over time. So cacao going into barrel, sitting on that for quite a while, and then another different type of cacao going in. The vanilla beans, I just limited supply that helps a little bit too. So I would say Chocolate Rain version 1. I think I would say is my favorite so far.
Those Weller barrels too.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, those are great.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So here's a question we kind of addressed last week, but we can talk about it again really quickly. We've seen it a few times. It's a little bit more serious. So anniversary party. I mean, right now, same status. We're kind of just sitting tight, assessing the situation. But again, health, safety of our people and all of our guests and fans and all of you guys is number one. So we will, if we have to, and we are going to make this decision pretty soon, we will push it out, postpone it, cancel. We have to make that decision still. We don't know yet, but obviously if we do cancel, refunds will be granted to anybody that has bought a ticket. Yeah, I mean, we'll just get that one out of the way. Seen it a few times, but we are monitoring the situation. So we're aware we won't do anything that's not advised. All right. Should we? Oh, here we go. What is the more distinguished Gray Monday? So this is going to be another confusing one. Yeah.
Like everybody else.
Yeah. That's not Gray Monday. That's
Gray Monday.
Well, let me ask this. Did we disclose what Chocolate Rain was going to be before we released it?
No, I don't think.
I don't know. We're distinguishing what that beer is currently. It's currently being.
Gray Monday.
I'm very distinguished and dignified.
But yeah, I think Jonathan, you're onto something with the double barrel variant. I think that's about all we'd be willing to say right now. But yeah, you're on the right path.
Awesome. Okay, let's do one last trivia question to name our grand champion. And then we'll go ahead and take some just open questions. We'll answer questions for about 15 minutes.
There's a tie.
What's the score right now?
2 points, right?
The score? You want the scorecard?
Yeah, what's the score?
So the score right now.
He knows the answer. He just wants you to say it.
I'm just saying, what if there's a tie?
There's not.
There might be a tie. So right now, Riley, you might as well not play because
Riley's relevant to the last 2 years.
Riley has zeros. Aaron, Keith, and Bell are tied for second place with 1 point. And Jeremy is just taken off in the lead.
I have 1 point.
Yeah, you're tied for second.
Yeah, we're tied.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy's first with 2 points. So there's a lot of ways this thing could end. Lots of drama about to happen. So everybody sit tight. We're going to end this one with a real doozy. Does that make sense? I don't know what I just said.
No.
All right, you guys ready? This one, oh man, there's 2 good ones. I don't know which one to do. Let's do
both.
You want to do both of them? We can do both. Okay.
Wait, on separate.
Good. It's got to be like a double bonus. Like.
Okay, we'll have a playoff. If there's a tie, I'll save one for a playoff question.
There we go.
Okay.
For second place.
You guys ready?
Always.
What other brewery did the brewery's original brew house come from?
Oh.
30 seconds. Don't hold your answers up until I ask you to, please.
Crown me, dude.
You got 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Don't Google. Darren looks like he's Googling something.
Can you repeat the question?
What other brewery did the breweries with the RUERY, did the breweries brew house come from? All right, pens down. Hold them up. Hold them up.
Jesus.
We have a champion. Jeremy got it right. I also got it right, but Jeremy,
Orlando.
I got it right too. Keep in mind.
you got it right too.
But I'm still 1 point behind. What was the last question?
Where is it now?
Where is it now? That could be a bonus question too. I know where it is.
I don't need a bonus question, but it's where is it?
So our original brew house came from Mendocino Brewing, which was the first brewery opened after Prohibition. There's some other trivia in there or something, I believe.
Stretch, Victor, and Brian also kind of got it right. We got it from a junkyard, but it was originally owned before that by Mendocino Brewing.
Before the field, yeah, before the junkyard.
Yeah.
Mendocino Brewing. All right, well, Jeremy, congratulations. Thank you for playing.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
I know it means
I'd
a
like
lot.
to give my, I'd like to give my acceptance speech if I can. I believe I'll be taking a week off to celebrate and enjoy my winnings. I will see you back here, same place, same time, in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
What was our last question?
Awesome. Cool. So we kept it closer to an hour this time, but let's answer a few questions. If you guys have questions, throw them in the comments, and we'll just do like 10 minutes of kind of open forum. Ask whatever you want. I'm going to scroll through and find some of the better questions out there, and we can start answering some stuff.
Why is Riley wearing our Aloha Friday shirt on a Thursday?
Oh, here we go.
It's behind me.
Good question.
So, someone earlier asked if we have any beard tips from Sour J, any grooming tips, how to...
No, not at all. Actually, I make it a point to never talk about hair with anybody. I like to find other topics to talk about.
He doesn't like when you talk about his beard.
Recently read books, new shows to binge on Netflix on. I like wine, I like beer, but I don't like to talk beards or hair. It's kind of weird.
Tiger King. What's going on?
I'm looking for some questions. Let's see. What are you guys watching on Netflix right now? We're all kind of stuck at home for a little bit, so what's everybody binging on?
Cheers.
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 Hell yeah. Yeah.
It's good. Westworld. I'm watching.
You gotta wait weekly for that though. It's killing me.
I'm watching Better Call Saul and recording the new season on YouTube TV, so that I'm gonna go right from the Netflix flow into the new show.
Good call.
Yeah, I like that show. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Here we go. Sour J.
What is it? Okay, Maddie. You guys know Maddie Hargrove? He's awesome. Maddie works at Blackberry Farm. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He's one of my good buddies, and he's also a Hoarders member. But Maddie, has everybody read Roadside Attraction?
Nope.
Anybody know that book? It's an amazing book. I can't remember the author's name right now. Dang it, I can't remember his name. Does a bunch of books. Skinny Legs and All is another book. I'm
What's it
sorry, I
about?
can't remember his name. Pardon?
What's it about?
It's about a it's about a traveling flea circus, like actual fleas,
Oh,
and
like Bug's Life.
it's weird. It's really weird. And I have a feeling Maddie knows what I'm talking about.
All right, here's
Anyway.
a good one.
Yeah, Tom Robbins. That's right, Maddie. It's Tom Robbins. I love that author. He's so great. You guys should read him. He's a lot of fun. He's super entertaining.
Shout out to Sam. It's Friday in Australia, so
That's why.
Here's a cool question. So some of our new wild beers, we're putting cork in them. So Dugan is asking, how should I store them? Upright, on its side. What do you think, Jeremy? What do you think, Keith?
Yeah. If it's got a cork, store it on its side. It's totally fine. Totally fine. Think about the Belgians, right? All their beers are shipped, stored, and packed on their side. Well, not packed, but packed for ship anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're doing anything wrong packing any kind of alcohol beverage on its side. I mean, you're not. So
Okay, let's do
the answer, but what will your first Magnum release be?
Keith's a big runner, dude.
I can't roll with Chris. I can't roll with Chris. That guy runs like 6-minute miles for like 20 hours. Like, no shot, dude. Bradley, good luck. That guy's an animal. Like, don't get me wrong.
I ran D1, so.
Oh wow!
If anybody can keep up, it's Riley.
Did you see this question?
Here's a good question. I don't know if anybody's a big cigar smoker in the. I'm not, so I don't know if anybody can tackle this one.
Food fume, baby.
That's right. Food fume. It's a oud tart variant it's in our Hoarders box beer. So we actually took some oud tart and basically ran it through some house smoked wine staves. Really, really smoky. Really fantastic.
You had a good day that day.
Yeah, that was a good fucking beer. Or good beer. Sorry, I can't curse, right? Good beer.
Please don't.
I don't care.
Yeah, you
Care what YouTube says. Fuck it. It's good.
So was Bakery Boysenberry brewed for Knott's Berry Farm? That's a good one. Jeremy, you want to talk about the time we went over there and rode some coasters?
Yeah, actually, it was actually concept we wanted to work on, but Knott's Berry Farm was hosting their Boysenberry Festival, which has since been canceled due to a current state I'm sure you're all aware of. But yeah, we were approached by Knott's to get involved in their Boysenberry Festival, and it's something that we've been approached to do in the past, but never with enough time to do beer the way we like to do beer. And we have very, very few beers that get planned and conceived on the 1st and are packaged and ready to drink on the 22nd. There's very few beers that we make like that, although we do make some. But we were approached by them, and this year we finally had the time to go and do it. So we kind of reimagined our cherry pie bakery, especially for Knott's. So you'll only see that beer in our tap rooms and at Knott's. Unfortunately, Knott's isn't open right now, so hopefully in the next month or so, or who knows how long they'll be open, and that beer will be available there. But I don't know. This sounds weird. I don't know Serpentine if you've had that beer, but it's really good. I'm really happy with the way it came out. The guys worked really hard on it, and I think it's a fantastic pie beer in the bakery line, if you will.
So good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Show. Here's a good one. So plans for Member Tuesday. We should just do this. If you guys are enjoying this format, let us know in the comments, because we actually use all this feedback to kind of drive what we do for everybody. So if you like it, let us know. But I think I don't want to commit to it just yet, but if all of you guys are in, I think this is what we're going to do. We'll taste through all the new releases, field any questions you guys have, and just hang out online. That's all we can really do right now.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Here's one that we can kind of go around. So maybe it's not favorite beer to brew or most frustrating, but maybe you guys can kind of talk quickly about what's been kind of like a passion project for you here, where you just you had a little bit more like drive into it. We're like, man, I want to do this. This is awesome.
I got one.
Keith, let us know, man.
Yeah, I think both questions are for the same beer. Spontaneheim and all of our spontaneous beers. Like that's our favorite beer to brew because it is challenging. I mean, from the brew house, it's not a normal brew day. It's you're taking a high dextrin wort. You're trying to do basically low conversion. So it's a lot of work in the brew house. It's a lot of work when the wort gets to us, being that we don't cool it mechanically at all. We actually cool it naturally. There's no inoculation on purpose. So we basically open up the beer to the natural elements in Anaheim. And it's frustrating because as a brewer, you want to know what's going on inside that wort and inside that beer, and you don't know. You just don't know. And it's frustrating to not know. But it's also one of those beers that you love to make because you don't know. So I think a lot of us here in this group, we've been brewing for a long time. We've been making beer for a long time, and we depend on consistency in a product. And when you don't have consistency because it is a wild product, it's kind of frustrating. But the outcome has been great. I mean, for the past couple of years, and this year's release coming out, it's not going to be any exception. I mean, it's coming out. I don't know exactly when the next Spontaneheim release is coming out, but I mean, it's pretty soon here. But it's also fantastic. And knowing what we know about Spontaneheim and how it was made, it's really good. It's really good. It's one of my favorite beers to make. It's also frustrating internally, more of an emotional frustration than a physical frustration. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think Keith makes a great point, and I think the things that are going through my mind right now are that one of my first tasks when I came on with the brewery is we're going to make this dextrinous wort out of the brew house, and for those of you that know us, we have a beautiful, wonderful GEA Craft Star brew house. It's we got a decent amount of recipe-driven automation, and it's a dream until you're trying to do something like make the wort for Spontaneheim, and then it takes a lot of creative workaround solutions to get what you want out of that brew house, and that was both frustrating for me as a very coming from a very conventional brewing background to be like, what are we even doing? Wait, what?
Right.
Y'all want what? That's stupid. But okay, here's how we're gonna do it. And so that was a lot of fun. It really was, and it was even more gratifying to know that Jeremy and Keith got the work that they wanted out of that process. I mean, that was amazing. And then I think just to add to the story a little bit, for me, that passion project and that frustration is what we're asking of our team right now from a completely different perspective with the Brew Keller with Lager series, because here we're talking about the same brew house, which is literally designed to make that wort, and it's a breeze. You turn it on, just press, here we go. And it's not quite that easy, but you get the idea. But then on the cellar side and on the yeast handling side, with Riley watching, all the yeast propagations and krausening and all those things, it adds a whole different level and a different place in the brewery. And to me, it just makes me proud because that is what we do. So here you have this wild ale, ghost style, multi-year blended, dextrinous wort-based beer that's coming out as a world-class product, and on the other side you have a German-style Helles that is unmatched, if I dare say so. So, like those are you can call them frustrations, but I call them our job, and that's actually the fun part of our job.
Yeah.
Well said.
For me personally, yeah, the turbid mash in Spontaneheim's very challenging. For our old brew house, smoking wood was such a major pain in the ass to brew. Horrible. As far as what like excites me and what I think is cool is, for about a month a year, we get to pretend that we're winemakers when we process all these grapes for all of our beer wine hybrids. And those to me are some of the most magical liquid that we put into bottles. So for me, those are interesting. Like those are fun. It changes every year how we're doing them, how we process them, but we get to pretend like we're in a slightly different industry, and the liquid's just incredible. But yeah, smoking wood was so fucking horrible to brew.
I think too, like kind of to talk to Andrew's point is, like when we bring in grapes at Teru, it's you kind of lose it a little bit. You're just like, am I making beer? Like it's just kind of, it's very impactful for us and for our team at Teru. It's like, it's so much fun to work with a natural product and have it turn out exactly the way we envisioned it. It really is. It's awesome. It's fun. It's great. The beer is awesome. And I don't know, it's hard to explain in words, but it's fantastic. It's fun to work with. So yeah, I think all the wine projects are fun.
That's the definition of wild, right? I mean, like when we talk about a wild beer, that means that we didn't put, wild means that we didn't put like that yeast into that beer, like we don't know exactly what's going into those beers, and we're still creating a product that we really, really love, and it's a passion product. So it's interesting. It's an experiment every year. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think too, like it, especially so Jeremy's been making wine for a long time, and like he I think Jeremy's very calm, right? Jeremy's a very calming presence at the brewery, and he is because like
Jeremy's always positive.
But like the first 2 years, it was like,
hold on,
I was just like super worried. We're like super worried about these projects just from what I know about beer. It doesn't really convert to winemaking, and like I had a lot of concerns internally. I had a lot of concerns, and I think Jeremy was just like, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, that's fine. It's okay. We're good. And I'm just like, it took a lot for me to calm down, internalize what Jeremy's saying, and it did. It came out to be a fantastic product, and I think that's frustrating to not know what a 1 to 2 year project is going to taste like. Like that's where Jeremy's life. I mean, that's what and I didn't know that coming in. Like as a beer maker, you want it in like 3 or 4 months. Like I need to know at the most 3 months how it's going to taste, and that's not the timeline that Jeremy came from, and that's where I think it's frustrating to not know. But
I think that's what Darren was touching on a little bit, is like we can have, like how many, like all the beers that we make, we can make something like Hellas that's super controlled and exact and consistent and exactly what we want it to be. And we can go all the way down to Spontaneheim, where it's not something that's controlled, and it's an experiment. I mean, every single year, and it's not going to be the same every year, and that's kind of the beauty of it, also. And I think that adds to the complexity of the brewery and what we believe in and what we love, and what all you guys watching. That I think that's why you love the brewery, and we're fantastic brewers, and we also experiment, and I think that's
we're all crazy.
We're not quite right.
Well, I think Keith, those are very kind words, but I just want to let everybody know that for all of our successes across the board, for all of our creatives, like we fail too. Like we fail hard, like really, really hard. And there's been some barrels of beer that we've kept around at Teru specifically that were absolutely horrific. And I always made sure to taste other producers on those barrels when we bring them in. I tasted all the stuff we were super proud of, everything that was really good. Like, hey, check this out, and everybody's patting you on the back. This is great. And then you're like, yeah, cool. You want to taste this other thing? And you're like, this is what I tried to do. And then you give them it and they're like, this is horrible. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's really, really bad. But we tried to do something that's never been done before and we fell on our face. But those are the kind of things that, kind of push us into, figuring out why, what was, it was probably one little thing. It was probably one decision that was made. And that decision could have very easily been me saying it's going to be fine. And it wasn't fine, so, failure is what really drives us to success and pushes everything, like we make a really great lager, like we failed at making lager before, like that happens, so to make anything good, you gotta be your own worst critic. You gotta pick yourself apart. You gotta find out where you made mistakes, and then you gotta drive on. And that's one of the things I think at the brewery are really fortunate to have. And you see all these people on your screen. These are all the people represented right now, plus the other folks that aren't represented right now that are making those decisions, whether they be good or bad, and then learning from them and kind of pushing forward. So that's my little piece I just wanted to add.
All right. This happy hour again has quickly become a happy hours. So let's do 3 more questions, and then we're out of here. Everybody good for 3 more questions?
Yeah.
Let's hammer them.
All right, so let's start with this one. So BT variants, I think this is more talking about like, how do we do the Black Tuesday? Is it one batch? Like,
yeah.
Darren, I think maybe you can answer this one best if you want to give this one a shot.
Yeah, I actually thought that this was a great question, but it's actually also a very direct answer. So our Black Tuesday base, we are brewing throughout the year on a certain cadence. And so we constantly have Black Tuesday base going into bourbon barrel aging as well as other barrels that ultimately become destined for certain projects. Jeremy manages that pretty closely. He's always watching our barrel aging program. But to answer the question, do we know when a batch of Black Tuesday is brewed and goes into bourbon barrel aging, do we know exactly what that beer is destined for in terms of variant? No, we do not. So when it comes time to build a blend for a specific variant, and all the variants have different treatments. Some of them are in barrel, some of them are after the beer comes out of the barrel. Jeremy leads the effort in building that blend of the appropriate age of barrels and tasting through them. We'll build that blend and then essentially assign it to a specific variant based on when it needs to come out. So Black Tuesday is a rolling liquid for us, it's under almost kind of a constant fluid adjustment, if you will.
Cool. Yeah, I hope that answers that one. Here's another good one. So this is like label-wise, beer-wise, this is one of my favorite beers we did last year, and now we get to do it again. So Jeremy, Keith, one of you guys wants to take lead on what is this next Fontanaheim that we have planned?
Yeah, I think that's a Jeremy because I don't know what not to say.
Yeah, well, there's nothing not to say. But basically, we released Fontanaheim last year for the first time. That beer blended averaged about 18 months old from 2-year and 1-year stock. But make no mistake, to make that beer, it took us 3 years. It took us 3 years to get a beer that we thought was not only just releasable, but we thought was a fantastic expression of all the work that we did on it. And just to go back to what Keith was saying, like, when we had the idea, and everybody has the idea right now, all sour producers are trying to make spontaneous beer. But when we were pitching the idea to make spontaneous beer in Anaheim, it was really a team effort. It was like going to the brewers and saying, this is what we want. Like, I don't know how you're going to do it. I can't give you direction on how to do this, but you guys figure out how we're going to do this. And we went through, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but 5 different versions of that brew over a 2-year period. Aged that, fermented that in puncheons, aged it in puncheons. And then, last year we're able to put together a beer that we thought was representative of all the hard work that went into the beer. So that was Fontanaheim. we'll be releasing Spontaneheim again this year, which will average around the same amount of age. But in addition to Spontaneheim this year, we will release a 3-year blend. So that 3-year blend is the 1 year, 2 year, 3-year-old beer that's completely inspired by the goose blending tradition. So this year is our first opportunity to release that. It'll be a small quantity, and the name of that beer is Onus on Us, and I picked that name because I'm not comfortable releasing that beer if it's not up to what we think it should be, and so that onus is definitely on us to figure that out. And right now that beer is bottle conditioning, and we have high hopes for it. I'm pretty tied into what I think that beer should be. We've been tasting it now for probably about 3.5 months. And really kind of dialing that in as to where we think bottle conditioning should be on it. And I'll tell you one thing, like, you can take it from me and the rest of my colleagues that you can see on the screen. Like, we will not release that beer if we don't believe it to be the best product that we could put forward. That being said, we've never done a 3-year spontaneous beer. We've done we've made Ruse for years and years and years, and that was a 3-year blend that was inspired definitely by the goose tradition, but wasn't a spontaneous beer at all. So the onus is definitely on us for this one, and you guys should be seeing that hopefully soon. I don't see anything that tells us that will not be ready this year. So
I think that's a good segue to the next YouTube question right here. But
this one isn't going to count. I just kind of thought these could roll together, but we'll have one more question after this.
But I think that's a good question.
Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you, everyone. I unfortunately have to sign off right now, but really appreciated seeing all the questions tonight. So pass it off to Keith. But bye. We'll see you next week. It'll be fun. Stay safe and appreciate it.
See you, Darren.
Sure, Darren.
Have a good one.
Yeah, so I think the spontaneous beer, it basically, spontaneous beer can basically refer to any beer that is not specifically inoculated with the yeast strain or bacteria that a brewer is looking for, right? So I mean, spontaneous beer, we basically take our wort, which is beer before it's beer, just sugar water for basically very rough, and we put it out into an environment that is able to accept wild yeast, and that's all we do. We take the wort, we put it into a giant pan. We put a mesh screen on it just to keep the flies and the bugs out, but yeast can easily go through it. And we put that outside at night, and as it cools down and it basically draws in air, and air contains yeast and bacteria and bugs, as we're all going through right now. We all know that that's how this shit is transmitted, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this wild yeast, and that's what ferments these beers. That's why it's called Spontaneheim, is spontaneous beer from Anaheim, and all the yeast is from Anaheim. And I think that's a good explanation of why it's called spontaneous, and also it defers to Anaheim, which is where we're getting the yeast from. And I think there was also, what's up?
Oh, sorry. Do you want to talk about how long you leave it out to be inoculated, and then when you put it in barrel?
Yeah, so basically,
put it in barrel, and then how often you taste it to make sure that it's going in the direction we want it to go in.
Yeah, so spontaneous doesn't mean that you're not looking at it from a quality perspective. I mean, you're definitely looking at the wort. So personally, I'll look at it every 3 hours to look for some kind of yeast culture happening in the beer. So we plate it, we won't plate it, but we'll put it under a microscope and look for any kind of yeast culture activity going on in the wort. And once I see any kind of yeast and some budding activity, that's when we move it into barrel. That's when we put it in the barrel. And at that point, we know that the wild yeast is going to take over, and the wild yeast is going to ferment. So we're looking for some kind of budding. We're looking for yeast growth. And once we know there's yeast growth in the wort, we know that it's going to be a spontaneous fermentation and not a basically a retroactive from the barrel fermentation, right? I mean, because bugs live in the barrel, and we don't want that. We want spontaneous yeast, and that's where we're at. And
so
I think
budding means that yeast are healthy and viable, and they're going to reproduce, and they like the environment they're in, and they're going to keep fermenting those sugars and letting off the flavor profiles that maybe we're looking for, and maybe we're not, but either way.
Yeah, and I think too. I think that's where it's exciting. I mean, that's where like the frustrating part comes in. Is like you don't know what's gonna happen, you know. And I think too that there was a probably a couple months ago we were doing a Society Tuesday, and somebody said like, well, you're in the middle of Orange County in LA, and like, is that a good thing? And I think one of the most like prominent like sour beer producers is in the middle of Brussels. I mean, have you ever been to Brussels? Like that city is not clean. It's not any. I mean, it's the same. Like it's the same situation we're in, and they're doing the same thing. It's like I think that might actually have some good reason why that yeast is so readily available to ferment wort is because it is in a city.
Is there a particular month that we aim for cool shipping?
That's exactly what.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and fortunately, we're in Southern California. So like the months we're basically trying to shoot for our cooler months. We schedule out with the brew house like, hey, we're gonna time this as cold as possible. So like we're watching within a week. We tell the brew house like, all right, this is the 2-month period we're gonna make this wort, and we watch the weather forecast, and we're like, all right, it's gonna be 40 degrees tonight. Like, all right, we're brewing it tonight. and like everybody has to be ready. Everybody has to be ready to move, and they know it's our coldest months, like February. They know they're ready, and that's when we do it. Is our coldest month. But it's also Southern California, so it's not that cold. It's not as cold as it could be.
Yeah. The funny thing is we probably could brew one tonight, just given the weather this week. But
yeah, well, you never know that.
Yeah, it's usually super limited. Like I think what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, we had like 4 or 5 possible days the entire year that we could brew it.
Yeah.
Like we're limited. It's been a little bit colder, but yeah.
Okay. Nice in Kansas City.
Let's do it. One last question. So this one's going to kind of be a combination of a question I saw in the comments and then something we did last week. And I think this is just kind of a cool way to end things for now, given the situation everyone's in. But last week we kind of asked, what are your favorite local small restaurants to go out there and support? So if everyone wants to like go around and maybe pick out a small restaurant and one brewery. So the breweries around us are in the same situation. Like tasting rooms are closed. So just kind of shout out a brewery, restaurant in either your hometown or where you live now that you think people should get out there and go support right now. Outside of obviously go to the brewery, order online, come get our beer. Keith, you want to give it a shot?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm not from Southern California, but I have a lot of friends that brew across the country, and you know some guys that are kind of struggling right now. In South Carolina, you know, there's a brewery, it's a River Rat Brewing. They're making phenomenal pilsners. They won a couple of World Beer Cups for their pilsners, but they're in South Carolina, Columbia. They also do food to go. I haven't had their food yet because they can't ship the food. And yeah, that's cool. But also Altstadt Brewing in Fredericksburg. They're doing some great stuff. They got a couple of GBFs and World Beer Cups also. They're also doing beer to go, and honestly, they're like more of like the old world brewing, but it's fantastic right now. You know, when you're trying to just drink some beers and enjoy life, making good beers. So
Cool. Thanks, Keith. Bell, what you got, dude?
Yeah, I'm happy the ones I shouted out last week. I actually ended up going to Fourth Horseman, which is a local restaurant to us, on I think it was Friday or Saturday, and they actually sold out a pizza. So that's amazing for a restaurant. This week, I think I'm going to shout out like the Ellie's Lupe group in Long Beach. Last week, they didn't think they could keep their kitchen running, so they weren't doing delivery, and now they are. So Ellie's and Lupe's Del Mar, they make amazing food in Long Beach. Brewery-wise, other than us, I think I'm still going to stick with Beechwood. Go support Beechwood if you live in Long Beach. Amazing place, one of the first breweries in Long Beach, one of the first like independent breweries in Long Beach. So, yeah, there's so many amazing places, but those two just jump to the front of my mind.
Well, if you know me, Kansas City. So Kansas City, there's a great brewery called Alma Mater. They make fantastic Belgian-based beers also. Fantastic brewery. They started last year, early in the spring. Fantastic brewery, quality shit. I mean, stuff, really good. Also, Jay Rieger is a really great place to get food on the go in Kansas City. They're also making tens of thousands of hand sanitizer right now for local hospitals. So, way to go. Being a new California resident, one of my favorite breweries other than the brewery is I enjoy Gunwale. They opened up really a new place pretty close to me, and they have a beer called Orangewood. Very, very good. And also Gabby's Mexican Gabby's, very good, so good. They're in the Orange Circle, so big fan.
All right, I'm gonna shout out my buddies Kurt Shacklin and Andrew Jones up in Paso area. So small winery's been hit really hard by this shelter in place order across the state. So basically, wine tasting rooms they thrive on travel and foot traffic as a lot of breweries do. But they kind of have the double-edged sword of they survive on foot traffic coming in and tasting the wines, but a huge part of their distribution business, the end point of distribution is restaurants. And obviously, as everybody knows, that's taking a huge hit. So, small wineries aren't going to get their wine in Albertsons or Ralph's or Vaughn's or any of the stores that you're going to. Small wineries, generally, you'll see their wines in restaurants, and you'll see their wines in direct-to-consumer model at their tasting rooms. So they're a lot of those guys are hit really hard. Those guys are really, really good friends of mine. That said, they make excellent wine. It's not just that they're friends of mine, but they're fantastic people, and they have a bunch of wine brands that the brewery works with on occasion. Saint Lige, Field Recordings,
Fabulist.
They're good people, so check them out.
Yeah, Fabulist as well.
Exactly.
Good guys. Good wine.
Good guys, good wine. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
I've had a good time, but I tell you what, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's it. So if you guys like this, again, just make sure to give us some feedback in the comments. Let us know what you want to see next week. And society members, we're going to try and do this for our Social Tuesday. So read your emails. I know sometimes they're long, but just make sure to read them. There's a lot of really important details in there. Thanks everyone for coming out, and give us feedback. We like it. Good. Yeah. Anyway.
If there's more of us that you want to see, let us know. There's a lot more people that work here.
There are. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We are signing off.
All right, cheers, guys.